Welcome back to Bed Haven, the safe place for safe plays. We are back. Okay, I'm not going to lie to you guys. We just did an entire intro. We got through the first round leaders, and then the power went out.
Technical difficulties. It's the first time we've had that, so that's kind of a blessing, honestly. But, you know.
I don't even know why the power went out. It's not storming outside, but whatever. We talked a little bit about the Wyndham Championship. I touched on Matt Kuchar's debacle.
That's what you're going to say. You touched on Matt Kuchar.
Dude, I wouldn't touch Matt Kuchar unless I was punching him in his 6'4" goofy face.
He's so easily hated now. I mean, like I think I put in the group chat, like it's amazing that this goofy dad looking, guy is so hated at this point. Between the caddy thing.
I had completely forgotten about the caddy situation. Then this just like unleashed all of the Matt Kuchar dirt that anybody could find, and that was kind of refreshed to me, and I was like, oh yeah, this dude does suck.
Yeah, he's, for a millionaire, he counts his pennies.
Somebody posted a video of Rory. They were like interviewing them after something. I don't remember what it was. And and Rory just throws a little dig. He's like, well, we all know how much money means to this guy.
Yeah, that dude, like I said, for like a millionaire, he is counting his pennies, and he doesn't care what anybody thinks of it. And so yeah, you're gonna be hated. I don't know, whatever.
Really unfortunate that you guys didn't hear the rest of that. We're not gonna go through it again because I don't know, we probably just lost about 23 minutes of actual recording. Maybe not that much, but it felt like it. But yeah, we're at the St. Jude Championship, FedEx St. Jude Championship this week. Top 70 in the FedEx Cup rankings made it this week. That was finalized after the Wyndham Championship. Couple guys in, couple guys out. And yeah, we're gonna kick off the tournament there in TPC Southwind in Memphis, Tennessee. We'll get to some of the other details about that in a little bit, but we're gonna just jump right back into the picks here. Technical difficulties. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. If it does, I'll see you guys next week. But yeah, let's kick it off with the first round leader.
To round it out for everybody, I'll go ahead and just break it down. Top 70 this week, no cut event. You're going to need to make the top 50 to move on to next week.
Was that the BMW?
Yes. Yeah. So we're getting a par 70.
Oh, wait. Pause. It's not the BMW. They're going to like Colorado next week.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. I don't know what it's called. Do you?
I feel like the name changed. But it's somewhere in Colorado. Anyways, yeah. And then after that, it's the top 30 at the BMW.
Yep. Right. We're off the rails. Par 70, Bermuda grass greens, 7,243 yards. A little bit longer of a par 70 course. But I'm going to go ahead and give you my round one leader. You ready for
it? Shock me. Let me hear it.
You haven't heard this before, but I'm going with Ludwig Aubert, 25-1, first round leaders, 10,200 on DraftKings. He has played pretty decently recently, but his round fours have been kind of not great. At the Olympics, he finished T18, which was kind of underwhelming. Final round, 1 over, but gained 1.67 on approach for the tournament. That was towards the top of the leaderboard there as far as strokes gained approach. Was basically a zero putter, kind of lost a little bit actually, and lost around the greens, 0 off the tee. Round 4 was kind of incredible, losing 4 shots on the greens, specifically for round 4, and gaining 4 shots on approach. That's kind of crazy. We're getting Bermuda grass greens. He's a good putter on Bermuda grass greens. Last year in the Wyndham, when I saw him, he was in contention to win that golf tournament. Those are Bermuda grass greens. This year at the U.S. Open, Bermuda grass greens, he gained 1.16 per round at the U.S. Open this year. He's good, man. I don't know. He's good. I'm taking a shot here. He's priced up a little bit, but he's elite at this point, and I have no problem just saying that. I'll go ahead and tell you I said this earlier, but I'll say it again. I think that he's not a bad flyer play to win the FedEx Cup, given that he's right there in the hunt. If he has a good week this week, like I think he will, if he finishes top 5 or wins or whatever, he then has a legitimate chance to win that FedEx Cup, and I think I saw 28-1 on that. I'll probably put a little bit on that. I'll have him a little bit on DraftKings this week. Number one stat for me this week is approach from 170 or 150 to 175, and he is about seventh in this field in that stat. So, Ludwig Gobert.
Perfect. Yeah, I already told you that I like to play. I think that the putting on Bermuda, he's shown the biggest spike putting potential on Bermuda. So that's, you combine that with his strokes gain total, then yeah, you've got a really serious contender.
He's a well-rounded golfer, and I think that just for this entire week to win this golf tournament, you're going to need to have a well-rounded game. This is a very strokes gain off the tee heavy, strokes gain on approach heavy, a little bit putting. He's a well-rounded golfer, and this is kind of a well-rounded golf course, and he fits. So I'm going to take a shot.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Brian Harmon. 60-1 is what I bet him at. You can currently get him at 55. I saw him jump down to 50 this morning, and then I guess nobody was betting that number, so they bumped him back up to 55. That number's on FanDuel. He's 45-1 on Bet365, which is one of the main reasons I bet it so quickly is because I actually looked on Bet365 first, saw the 45, and I was like, let me just double check this number. Saw the 60-1 on FanDuel and just went ahead and hopped on. Brian Harmon gained 0.94 strokes putting in the final round of the Wyndham, along with 1.02 on approach at the final round. Sort of a wonky week for, seeing what these guys did round to round. You had multiple rounds played on one day. Some guys got tired. Some guys got, stressed out. It was slow play. They were averaging like 5 hour and 20-minute rounds.
Weird week for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, you have to kind of throw. You absolutely can take some guys that did good and say, okay, there's something there. But you can also say that if it was shit, then it was.
I would almost like if somebody played well for 3 rounds or something like that. I would really look into that. If they had one bad round, you could probably excuse it, given that they were playing a lot of long days.
Yeah, there's a ton of instances of that. I don't know if you have anything to talk about, but in my research, I did see where like several guys were gaining on approach for 3 rounds and they would lose one on a random round. So some of that is definitely needed to take into consideration. But the other thing about Brian Harmon here is this is a no-cut event. I do love him on DraftKings. He's 7,600 there. 2 top 10s and a T12 in other no-cut events this year. Kind of had a disappointing season as far as relative to, him coming off the major victory last year. But he still, has found a way to get some decent finishes in these signature events, even though this isn't a signature event, but it is the top 70. I think some guys are going to take this a little bit more serious.
Because this is when the money is on the line.
This gets you into the playoffs next week. Like you said, I don't know if he's on the bubble. He's probably on the bubble too, as far as the standings.
No, he's within the top 50. He's definitely within the top 50.
Right, but
to get to the top 30, yeah, he's probably gonna have to have a couple of good weeks.
He's 20th in FedEx.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
I would have
just
had him in the 40. I mean, like I said, you're not really.
He's just solid.
Yeah.
He's a solid golfer. I mean, he doesn't really wow you, but he's solid. He's had some spike weeks. He also plays a lot.
Yeah, that's
Plays
interesting. I will also say this. I've said it before, but the weather this week is something to consider. Not necessarily for wind or inclement weather, but it is going to be 100 degrees at the peak temperature. At least that's forecasted now on Thursday. So the Thursday round, first round of this tournament, they're looking at a high of around 100 degrees in Memphis. The morning wave goes off around 9:40,
8:20.
Oh, is it? Oh, so are they doing twosomes?
Yes.
Okay, that's why. So, if 8:20, I think he tees off around 10-ish with Justin Thomas. I also threw in a little nugget about Justin Thomas going to Alabama. He went to Georgia, whatever. But yeah, he also ranks really high in that strokes gained on approach from 150 to 175 category that you threw out. I think he's 4th on tour in that category, maybe 4th. You have to confirm that, but
proximity, he's 14th, but in this field he's probably 10th.
Okay.
But that's proximity. Maybe, again, it could be different for strokes gained or birdie or better or something like that.
Right.
It's just proximity.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's my first round pick. So now we can start the portion of the show that we haven't already done.
Exactly.
Let's go into favorite play.
My favorite play this week has been a guy that I've been on for about a month now, and he continues to play decent, except for at the Olympics where he was kind of disappointing. Probably one of the most disappointing guys that you thought would be in contention that really wasn't. And it's Colin Morikawa. I've got him. He's 10,000 on DraftKings. I think that's a pretty good price. He's 12-1 to win this golf tournament. That's kind of meh for me. I mean, I don't hate it. I don't love it. But Colin Morikawa in the Olympics, he showed me something late. Let me pull it up real quick. His round 4. Nope, that's overall. His round 4, he shot 1 under. He was T24 for the week, 6 under. Shot 1 under in round 4. But round 4, he gained 2.5 on approach that day and lost 3.3 putting. I've told you guys I like to see the spike iron play, and the putting can kind of come and go for me, and that doesn't matter as much to me. For the week, he averaged 1.78 gaining on approach and averaged minus 1.4 putting. He is continuing to put up these good tee to green numbers and good approach numbers. He was number 3 in the field on approach. Aubert, by the way, was 4th at the Olympics. They both just didn't putt well, didn't play well around the greens. I just feel like both these guys are sitting on hot weeks. They're both sitting on a big tournament, and I could see one or both of them really contending to win this golf tournament. So, yeah, give me Colin Morikawa. We'll definitely be heavy on him on DraftKings.
So, yeah, I actually really like Morikawa this week. I've already started, the building process on DraftKings, and I think you can start your lineups with him at 10,000 pretty easily. And for that reason, I think it kind of put me on this person to be my favorite play, and that's Rory McIlroy. Rory's going to kind of end up in this little sandwich spot where you're going to have guys that spend up to get Scotty. Scotty is what he is. He's just coming off the gold medal. People know that Scotty in fields like this is at, the reason he's plus 360 to win. He's just an animal at this point. Yep. And then you've got the people that are going to drop down to Morikawa and Ludwig. And I think, Rory might not end up modeling well for this tournament either, even though he finished, I think, either tied for 3rd or solo 3rd last year here. Driving distance is not really a consideration as far as the model for the type of winner of this tournament. So maybe that suppresses his ownership a little bit as well. I've seen an 11-1 on him on Bet365. That's the enhanced win. And like I said, the 11,100 price tag on DraftKings, it does allow you to kind of, start with him and still add some of these top tier players at a higher number, but you are going to have to dip down, in the 6s and the low 7s as well.
I'm a huge fan of the pricing this week. I actually love it.
They did a really good job.
It gives you a lot of options. Scotty up there at 12.4, and then I think, what are we going on to 6? Yeah, we're going down to 6,000. But down here at the bottom, because it's the playoffs and this is the top 70 golfers, theoretically in the world, they're really good golfers down here. You can create some solid lineups. Yep. Picking 1 or 2 guys at the top and then dipping down here. We'll get into that later towards the end of the show, but I just wanted to mention, I do love the pricing this week.
Yeah, and Rory second in strokes gained tee to green over the past 24 rounds in this field. That's only second to Scotty Scheffler himself. So, I'm not the biggest Rory fan in the world. I think that some of the things that he talked about after his poor performance at the Open kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But if you just look at the finishes, if you just look at what he's capable of doing with four guaranteed rounds, I think that he's live to win any tournament if there's no cut involved. So Rory.
Yeah, Rory. Just real quick, he was 5th. So I mentioned Colin was 3rd, Aubert was 4th, and Rory was 5th in strokes gained on approach average at the Olympics. Rory finishing 5th, shot 5 under in round 4. He actually was making a charge for a medal and then Splashtown USA late in his round. Kind of classic Rory at this point. Mm-hmm. He was a 0 putter for the week. Yeah, I actually don't hate that. I'm not a big Rory guy either, but I can see it. He's a great, like we said, or I said that you're going to need a well-rounded game here, and Rory, he is one of the best at a well-rounded golf game. He's great off the tee, which is important here. He's pretty good on approach too, and his putting is up and down. Yeah, I also like Rory this week. I will have some. Where is he top? Let me just look it up real quick. Yeah, he's third in approach from 150 to 175. So Scotty Scheffler's number one, by the way. Okay, yeah, I like it. All right, let's go to my top 20.
Did we talk about how we changed the format since the power went up?
Oh, no, we did.
Okay, so yeah, typically every week we do the first round leader, favorite play, top 20, top 40. Every shortened field event that we've had so far this year, we've taken top 40 and turned it into our long shot. I think to kind of make the water a little less muddy here, we're going to do a DK value play, our favorite DK value play in place of the top 40 spot this week. A lot of you guys are playing DraftKings with us, and I just think that's a better overall pick. So, and you can convert it to a top 40 play if you want to, but that's just what we're going to do. So, and I also want to mention, if you're watching the video, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on Spotify, make sure you like the show, rate the show, and do the same on Apple I'm turning into you. Do the same on Apple Podcast. We are live on Apple Podcast as of a couple hours ago.
Apple Podcast. It's where I listen to my podcast. I'm sure there's plenty of you guys out there that do that. Jump on that because we need the views, man.
Yeah. Run the likes up, run the likes and or the ratings up, and do all that stuff. And also, if you're new to sports betting, you're listening to this, you're like, what the hell are you talking about? You can get free money from some of these sports books, and all you got to do is check the link in the description of this video to get access to all the deposit matches and bonus bets across various sports books. It's free money. It's their money. You deposit $5. They give you $150. Just do it, and then throw $150 on Ludwig, round one leader, or Rory favorite, to win, whatever. Just use the free money.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a great idea to me. Free money is good money.
Top 20.
Top 20 for me this week is Billy Ho.
Oh, my goodness.
8,500 on DraftKings, plus 110, including ties on DraftKings for a top 20. Billy Ho played last week at the Wyndham, and he had a pretty good week.
T7, I think.
T7. I had him here, and now he's gone. Hold on. Why is he gone? Billy Horschel. Okay, he gained T7, 3 under round 4. He gained 0.97 per round on approach. He gained 0.99 per round putting, and gained about a shot per round tee to green. He was there he is. Okay, he was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He was 8th in this field of the guys that made the cut on approach. He's been trending. He won the FedEx Cup when I was younger. He loves these courses. He also has great course history here. If I can pull it up real quick. His course history is okay. 21st in 2019, 31st in 2021. It's okay, but I remember looking at the Holy Grail on the site I use, and he's one of the highest gainers tee to green.
There's other tournaments that have taken place here, so
yeah, I'd have to deep dive that more. But as far as this course goes, he is one of the best fits, and he's playing a lot better golf. I mean, if you think back earlier in the year, he was fighting it. He was missing cuts at tournaments that he shouldn't be struggling at, and he has really turned his game around. He's gaining 0.72 tee to green in his last 24 rounds. I'll take the course fit on a guy that's trending and take a shot here. I'm going to definitely have him on DraftKings, 8,500. Probably won't bet him to win, but I guess we'll see. But yeah, Billy Ho is my top 20.
He does fit I looked at some past victors. They either had a win or a runner-up finish The past 5 winners at this course, not the specific tournament, but this course, because it changed over in 2022. But all tournaments included, the past 5 winners either had a win or a runner-up finish in the same season. They also were ranked 12th or better in adjusted scoring average on the year. Do you know what Billy Horschel ranks in adjusted scoring average on the year?
Nope.
He's 5th. So he does meet some of the criteria that I do have for if you're purely looking at like what have the past winners done or had to do here. He does meet that. So I don't hate it.
There's also big correlation, kind of sneaky correlation, if you think back to last year, between the Wyndham and this tournament. Lucas Glover won back-to-back. He won the Wyndham and then went out to win this, So having strokes gained on these Bermuda greens like the Wyndham and obviously hitting your irons well correlates to success. Also, real quick, Billy Horschel, to just further his Bermuda putting, he gained 0.74 per round at the U.S. Open that also has Bermuda grass greens. So Billy Horschel definitely will be a play for me on DraftKings this week.
What was his price?
$8,500.
Yeah, they got him priced accordingly this week, knowing what he's been up to.
He's like he's up there. He's around Thigala, Justin Thomas, Burns, Rye, those guys.
Okay. All right. Well, you just threw his name out there, and my top 20 play is going to be Sung J M plus 115 on DraftKings. Sort of a disappointing Wyndham Championship. He was the highest priced, right?
Yeah, highest price,
10,700
favored.
Last week. Yep.
Everybody and their mother was talking about how they were so excited with their 16-1s.
Yep. And I'm wondering what that's going to do to his ownership this week.
I just never I can't believe that people were getting there. The Wyndham Championship I feel like it's harder to, this is going to sound crazy, but I feel like it's harder to win maybe the Wyndham than it is this week, just because there's so many people in that golf tournament and it's so random and you have to have such a good spike putting week. And I don't know. I didn't like picking the favorite at the Wyndham and just be like, oh, it's easy. This guy's going to for sure win.
I will say this. There was next year, I'll have the formula for the Wyndham. And you just got to find these guys that are on either on a heater or there are things that you can look for. I actually pulled up, Cameron Young and Aaron Rye. I pulled somebody to the side and said, if you look at the last couple of winners of this tournament, and then you look at Aaron Rye and Cameron Young, they have a very similar trending type of game right now. And Cameron Young fully ejected himself on Sunday.
He's got the worst attitude.
I don't know.
He's a bum, man. He gets up near
He's
the
in
top.
this field too, so
he gets up near the top and all of a sudden he just looks miserable.
Yeah, I don't get it.
He can't putt and he just looks unhappy and he's cussing at himself and I don't know. And then neither one of us are Rye guys. Neither one of us.
No,
so
but I think
we didn't get there.
I think you have to go back to him this week.
If you think about the Lucas Glover thing, how he won back-to-back, and there's correlation there. I mean, I don't hate that. But yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, with Sungjae, gained 0.91 putting. This is true strokes gained on Data Golf. And he did lose on approach, but like I said, there's certain considerations you have to make for this tournament based on how it was formatted, because of the weather, because of all the stuff. And, a guy that's gained on approach in 5 straight tournaments coming in, and he hasn't lost on approach in back-to-back tournaments since the Masters. I think that I can just kind of say, all right, maybe just a tougher week on the approach stuff. He's still got the off the tee. He's still got the putting. Let's just see what we can do here. And like I said, I don't know what it's going to do to his ownership that everybody and their mother was on him last week, and he was a complete disappointment. I think he finished T42, maybe something like that, somewhere in the
T41.
Yeah. So, when you're spinning up for a guy at 10,700 on DraftKings, when you're betting him at 16-1, and he finishes T41, it's gonna rub you the wrong way a little bit. But Sung J M is a no-cut specialist. If you look at what he's done in some of these other no-cut events this year, T3 at the Travelers, T4 at Wells Fargo, T12 at Heritage. He had a T66 at Pebble, not super worried about that, and a T5 at Century, Tournament of Champions. So obviously these, you guarantee Sung J M 4 rounds. We've seen what he can do in a random round at the Open Championship or just some of these other places that he's just had these rounds where he goes absolutely bananas. And I just feel like plus 115 for a top 20. It's just
Sung J M is part of the reason for our big Open Championship.
That's yeah.
I mean, him backdooring a 7th.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about another person.
I forgot about that
in that team shortly as well.
Oh,
so
word.
yep.
Yeah, Sung Jae. Yeah, I don't know. I think his ownership is still going to be normal-ish.
Do you have projected ownership?
I do. I think it's going to be normal-ish, but keep in mind that there's only 70 guys in this field, so everybody's ownership will be slightly inflated from what you're normally seeing. So there won't be like guys that have 1% ownership and then other guys that have 30. I think everybody is just going to be a little bit higher owned than normal. So just go ahead and anticipate that. I do have Sung Jae at 15, which is normally like, whoa, 15 is kind of a lot. This week, 15 is upper middle.
Okay.
That's like more people are on them than not, but that's not like insane.
Okay. I think, that's probably a little higher than I would have guessed, but it's like you said.
We'll see. This doesn't.
I think that actually is going to go down a little bit. I think he'll be closer to like 12 or 13.
Yeah, even though people probably did feel burned by him a little, he did still make the cut while other big names like Lowry, Spieth missed the cut. So Akshay, shout out all those guys. I had my first. I probably shouldn't even say this, but
no, you can say it.
I had my first ever. I've never had this happen. I had my first ever lineup that all 6 guys missed the cut. Which was, I feel bad. Obviously, like, damn, dude, you really missed. But they were all like good players. It was like Lowry, Spieth, Akshay, EVR,
I feel
Geiger.
Like that's statistically so much harder to do than it is to not.
Oh, absolutely. Because I've had countless 6 of 6 lineups, and I've never had an 0 for 6 lineup.
It's truly impressive stuff.
Yeah. If it was ever going to happen, though, this was the week because it was such a weird week.
Yeah.
The cut was, I think, only like 4% lineups were 6 of 6. Even the amount of players, there was like a less amount of players that made the cut than normal. Just the way the cut line ended up being. Weird stuff. Oh, Nick Taylor was on that lineup too, who almost was a first round leader.
Like 7 or 8 under the first round.
He shot 7 under and then 4 over to miss by 1.
I don't know how you do that.
What are you doing, dude?
Yeah, he might be live this week. I mean, if he
maybe he's the min. He's 6,000. I guess we'll see. I'll have to deep dive that nonsense. But.
All right, well, let's go to our first time we're doing this, favorite DraftKings value play. Now, value is a little bit objective. I don't know what price range you're going to be looking at. I personally will be looking in the 6,000s, but
yeah, it's kind of. It could even be a $10,000 guy. It could be wherever, just whatever you believe that the guy is underpriced, basically.
Fair.
I mean, I could argue that this is not my pick, but I could argue that Colin Morikawa is priced lower than he should be. Well, and that's just a personal opinion.
Compared to his odds to win, that's absolutely true.
Yeah, and that's just a personal opinion, and people could say, no, you're an idiot, but whatever. If I believe that person is overpriced, that's what this play is going to be for me. And this week for me, I am not even like a big fan of this guy, but the stats are kind of shouting at me compared to his price, and that is Wyndham Clark. I have him 60-1 to win this golf tournament, which I think is outrageous, and he's 7,900 on DraftKings. Wyndham Clark was at the Olympics. He finished T14 after a terrible round 1 in which he shot 4 over. He proceeded to go 15 under in the next 3 days. For the tournament, he gained 0.41 putting, 0.29 around the greens, 0.53 on approach, 0.43 off the tee, and 1.25. These are all averages per day, 1.25 tee to green. He played fantastic rounds 2, 3, and 4. And the main thing that I love to see is he gained off the tee in all 3 of his final rounds. And that was really his problem. We saw it firsthand at the U.S. Open.
Yep.
And then we saw it again at, what was after the U.S. Open? We saw it again where he barely made the cut.
Was it Genesis?
It was Travelers, maybe. I don't know.
Oh yeah, yeah, it was Travelers.
Yeah, he barely made the cut, and then he had actually a good weekend. It was off the tee that he was really struggling. He was really having problems. He was missing left often. Yeah, then you picked him
I picked him for
the Open.
Yep.
And he missed the cut.
Yep.
Then we get a 14th at the Olympics, and I see 3 straight rounds of gaining off the tee. Super excited about that. I think that he is severely mispriced. I will put a bet on him at 60-1. I think that's in a shortened field, and just knowing the level he can play at. It's in him to be elite. Now he's kind of borderline at this point, but it's in him to be elite. So 60-1 shortened field, coming off of a good final 3 rounds of the Olympics. Hopefully he can build on that momentum. We'll have a fairly good amount of them at this tournament here. So on DraftKings. So we shall see, but Wyndham Clark will be my DK value play of the week.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think that, so, that's obviously a little bit different than the play I'm going to go with, but you're getting win equity at that pick. My pick is going to be more about like maybe some ownership kind of stuff, but yeah, Wyndham absolutely at his, we've seen the peak performance and what that can do for him. I think for him, seeing all the hate that he was getting for being selected for the Olympics and then having just an abysmal, like it was the first couple of holes. Like,
yeah, he started off just awful. Could be
maybe
nerves.
maybe triple bogey or triple double. I mean, it was bad just to start. And I was like, oh boy, all that talk is gonna, come to fruition here that he shouldn't have been here. And then he just went crazy for the last 3 rounds, like you said. But yeah, at 7,900, right? And that's his DK price.
Yep.
And 60-1.
Also, I didn't mention it because I don't know the number, but Wyndham Clark is 5th in the FedEx Cup standings. Don't hate a flyer on him to win the FedEx Cup, just given that if he does have a good week here and wins or top 5s.
Can you bet that now? Do you know?
Yeah, some books are offering it. I don't think FanDuel was, but I think DraftKings was.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd have to look into that. I'll probably look at that while you're going.
All right. Well, like I said, my DK value play is I would consider no win equity here. It's going to be Denny McCarthy, 6,500. Denny is, let me see if I can pull it up. So he struggled with the putting. I want to say he's obviously a great putter. That's like what he's known for. He struggled with the putting. It was really bad at Genesis Scottish Open where he lost 2.23. He's gained every other round putting since the Cognizant Classic. Now, he did lose 0.4 across the Wyndham Championship last week. Not the best sign in the world to me, but here's the thing about Denny. If he's doing other things right, I feel like he's going to regress back to what he is as far as the putting goes. You don't see him lose putting very often and then come back the next week and not gain. And for me, this play is more about the guys that are around him in a similar price range, and you can get some leverage as far as ownership goes. At $6,500, I think he's the only. No, he's at 6,500 with Steven Yeager and Johnny Vegas, both winners on tour this year. Johnny Vegas obviously putting some better recent performances. But then just above that, you've got Justin Rose at 6,600, JT Poston at 6,600, and Ben Griffin at 6,600, who's going to model very well for a lot of people. Ben Griffin is just gaining massively on approach in the last couple of rounds that he's had. And then Eric Cole at 67. He's obviously kind of coming back into form here. So I think you're going to see a lot of people go for those types of players. Denny McCarthy's going to get completely overlooked. He finished T6 at the Wells Fargo, another no-cut event where, that shows me he's got upside in a tournament like this. And he's 43rd on tour, so that's obviously going to get watered down a little bit in this field. It's going to be better than 43rd, but in birdie or better conversion percentage, when you've got guys that are guaranteed 4 rounds, you want them, scoring. and I'm looking at birdie or better conversion rate for that kind of stuff. So I just think as a pivot play, as ownership leverage, and you're going to be building these lineups with expensive guys at the top. A lot of people are going to end up in that price range of 66, whatever, and they're going to see, like I said, guys like Ben Griffin, Eric Cole, Johnny Vegas, whatever. They're going to be hitting those guys a lot sooner than they are McCarthy. So mostly ownership projection here, but I like Denny this week.
Yeah, I think that's a good play. Just to finish my thought on Wyndham Clark, he's 65-1 to win the FedEx Cup.
Put the house on it.
I won't put the house on it, but I will put a little bit of something on it. I'll also put a little bit on him to win this golf tournament specifically. I'd love the Denny McCarthy play, actually. He's kind of right there with Billy this week as far as gaining on approach. He gained 0.99 on approach per round. The difference between him and Billy basically was the putting. Billy gained about a shot per round, and Denny was losing about a half a shot per round putting, which is, again, not his norm. So if you can get some good iron play out of Denny, I do believe that the putting can come back. The only thing I worry about with him is his off the tee game. But as long as he can keep that in check with some good irons and some good puttings, he could definitely be well worth the price tag that he's coming in at this week.
Yep. He's a scrapper, I think. I think he's kind of a low-key.
He is. And you're going to have to pick somebody down here if you're going to start at the top of the board. So let's go ahead and go to the top of the board. And we'll start with Scotty Scheffler, $12,400. He has $1,000 more than Xander, who is second. He is projected to be the highest owned golfer this week on DraftKings. And what are your thoughts? What is your immediate thought with him this week?
He scares me. He scares me pretty much everywhere at this point. But I think I don't know, dude. I mean, I feel like the putting could put him out of it. I think if that's where we are right now, if he's going to always do the tee to green stuff. Like, that's just what he's going to do. I'm banking on him losing with the putter this week and not winning this tournament. And I think at that price tag,
I wonder what he has to do in order to not be worth it. Like, he's got to finish 10th.
Outside the top 10 for sure.
Because that's really how you need to think about this. You really need to think, what do I think Scotty Scheffler is going to do? And if you think he's going to finish 12th, then
that's not worth it.
Then he's not worth it.
Yeah.
Now, you would have to also get, who then do you go to? You'd have to get that right. If it ends up being a Xander Rory 1-2 finish, well, then you'd have to spend your money there or whatever, whatever the combination is at the top. Yeah, Scotty's tricky, man. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to have some. I think I'm probably going to be like with the field. Like, I'm not going to go over. I'm not going to go under. I'll probably have him around. I'm projecting him around 30% owned. I'll probably be around that number as well. He checks a lot of boxes this week. This is like I said, it's a big off the tee strokes gain course. It's a big approach, especially the 150 to 175 bucket, where he is number one in proximity on the PGA Tour, not even just in this field on the PGA Tour. Coming off of a gold medal performance where, looking at the stats, he was, again, like number one in everything. I mean, he was number one in approach, number one tee to green. He was the third off the tee. He's really good. Would you believe that he didn't even have a positive putting week when he won gold?
Like, how bad was it though?
Minus 0.36. So not like bad, but minus 0.36 average. I mean, I'm sure he gained in round 4, obviously.
Yeah.
But not even like a crazy amount. Like, this is how good Scotty Scheffler is. He shot 9 under to win the gold, which is incredible. So you would think to shoot 9 under, you would have to gain like an insane amount putting, right? Well, he only gained 1.58. Now, to put that in perspective, Victor Perez shot 8 under, and he gained 3.7 putting. that's just how amazing Scotty's irons are, and is around the green and is off the tee, and just really everything about his game. He doesn't have to be an insane putter when he hits it to 10 feet. So yeah, he's a tough one for me. I think I'm going to have around the field.
That's scary stuff.
I don't think he's going to win this week, but I do think he's going to be right there. Like, I think he's top 5. I think that you'll get a Rory, Aubert, or Morikawa win would be like what I truly think will happen. I won't have any Xander this week. Not even anything that like
he doesn't rate out well for this course for whatever reason.
Yeah, his course history here is not great. It's not awful, but it's not great. He's playing great golf though. I mean, he's third in this field. Fourth in this field in his last 24 rounds, tee to green, strokes gained. He's the best putter at the top of this board, but I don't know.
I could see like
I'm not feeling it.
I could see like a 8th place finish.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it at 11,400. I think part of the reason I'm not feeling it is because I like the 3 guys below him in Rory, Aubert, and Morikawa with a little bit of a discount for each one of them. So I'm just more likely to go there. So I will be skipping Xander this week. Yeah, if you start with Scotty, by the way, like if you just go ahead and click Scotty, your average now is 7,500.
Wow.
So while you can do it, you're going to have a really hard time doing 2 stars instead of, like if you go Scotty, let's say Scotty Morikawa. Well, now you have 6,900 remaining for your final 4. That's kind of tough.
That means what somebody at the very bottom, one of these 6K guys is going to be pretty owned.
Well, let's figure it out.
You said Scotty Morikawa?
Scotty Morikawa. I project both of them to be fairly owned. I think
who's all right. So put it in order of ownership.
This is showing me Scotty Xander, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay.
The cheap guy that's getting a ton of play is Rye, 8,200. Not cheap, but next tier, 8,200 Rye.
So then let's start with those 2. Let's start Scotty Rye.
Okay. Let's see where it puts us.
7,350 remaining. I think Bez.
Davis Thompson is getting a lot of play at 7,400. And then I think Wyndham's getting some play too.
Is he really?
Yeah, it's 7,900. Akshay as well at 7,300.
How do you feel about Akshay this week?
Let's grab Wyndham and Akshay real quick. I almost feel like something's going on like off the course. I told you what I saw at 3M, and you immediately said you saw it at the first round of Wyndham. I think he's like something's going on off the course. He just looks down. Like his numbers and stuff are still fine. Like
I think the approach is kind of not great right now, but
like he's still okay. Just weird stuff. Like I watched Friday, but I didn't really see any Saturday or Sunday. On Friday, he was playing with Shane Lowry, I believe, and they both just looked miserable. Like it was so weird. Like neither one of them had any momentum. They couldn't get anything going, and they both ended up missing the cut. But yeah, just diving in like around the green, round 1 for Akshay lost 2.24. That's weird. Like that's random. He shot 1 under, and then he shot 1 under in round 2. Round 2, he's a slight gainer on approach, slight loser putting, 0 off the tee, and it was a -1, and take it to the house. You're done.
Probably drove to Wake Forest after that.
He probably did. I don't know. Just never really got anything going. 1 over on the par 5s on the first round, which is pretty disappointing because both of those par 5s are very gettable. And only 1 under the second day on the par 5s. Yeah,
I'll have to check out his girlfriend's TikTok to see if
maybe something's up, dude. See if she unfollowed him or something. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I feel like it's off the course stuff, but maybe he can bounce back. I mean, he is. We're getting a significant discount this week. 7,300 for him. is
And you're
way
guaranteed
lower.
You're guaranteeing him 4 rounds.
And he has that spike potential for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know the last time he was this cheap.
All right. Well, I clicked him, and that leaves me. So I clicked. Right now, I've got Scotty, Rye, Clark, Thompson, Batia, and that leaves me 6,800. Who's more owned between Eric Cole and Ben Griffin? Or is there anybody around that 6,800 price range that's more owned? I would say Eric Cole's got to be getting some love.
It's really tight. There's nobody that sticks out.
Really?
Yeah, the first one, actually the highest guy that's under 6,800 is Victor Perez at 6,400. But that's it. Yeah, they're all clustered together. Who did you say you thought it would be?
I thought it would be Eric Cole.
Eric Cole. Yeah, I could see that like actually being what ends up happening, but that's not what I'm showing right now. But this changes. This is just a guideline. This is a guess kind of. It'll all change as people continue to make lineups. But yeah, he's not a popular click as of this moment, but I'm sure he will be, given that he just had a good finish. People will go with recency. Same thing with Griffin. Griffin will be much higher owned than I'm showing here. So
yeah.
All
right. Well, couple guys that I want to talk about, and I know you kind of started going down the board. Any Hideki love this week? Well, how about this? Fleetwood and Cantlay are the next after.
Fleetwood, Cantlay. Yeah, I'm just not really high on either one of these guys. I think, unfortunately,
Cantlay hasn't been playing a ton.
I don't want to say unfortunately, but this is going to be the range that I'm going to end up skipping.
Yeah.
Because I'm probably going to double stack the top with like Rory, Aubert, Morikawa. I will do combinations of those three with mixing in Scotty as well.
Yeah, so you're going to be stars and scrub.
I'm going to be very stars and scrub this week. I'm going to do a double stack at the top, and then I'm going to end up skipping the entire 9K range and most of the 8K range. Honestly, pricing wise, I'm going to have to. So yeah, this is going to kind of be a dead zone for me. I won't really have much Fleetwood, Cantlay, Hovland, Motts, Connors, Henley. I don't anticipate having a lot of those guys at all.
Well, I'm gonna pull up.
It's just your build. Like, are you thinking that you might get to this range?
I may have some Hideki. Connors rated out really, really well for me when I was running some of the numbers. I could see it, but I was looking at the most tipped golfers this week, and right now, let's see, you got Henley. So these are the most tipped. Henley at 33-1, Motts at 22-1, M at 33-1, Kim at 33-1, Horschel at 40-1, Morikawa 12-1, Aubert 20-1. So that's the most, like, essentially what people are probably going to bet on the most at this point. But it kind of surprises me. So the Henley thing, for me, I could see it because, this course modeling screams accuracy, and obviously he does that. The thing about Henley is he withdrew from the Wyndham prior to the full, like, he withdrew pretty early.
Yeah, he didn't do a Harris English.
Yeah.
Which also screwed me.
Correct. His father passed away. So
Henley?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have heard, he's going to be playing with a heavy heart. That'll help him. I think it could go the complete other way. I don't, obviously it's tough to get. You'd have to have some sort of inside information on the relationship that they had. I have no idea. But at 9,000, I feel like that's priced up pretty well.
Yeah. The problem, I'll just go ahead and tell you, the problem I have with the guys in this range, specifically Connors and Henley, is they just don't win.
Correct.
And if you're going to give me, Rye at 82 and Justin Thomas at 84 and Billy at 85, like, these guys actually win sometimes. Like Lowry at 8, Clark at 7-9. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't want to pay up for a guy who I don't think is going to win. Now, do they finish like top 10 a lot? Yeah, that's why they're up here. That's why they're priced at this point. But I think I would rather click, a double stack at the top on two really good guys, and then kind of go down to a guy that I think has just as good of a chance of popping it, like in Lowry or Rye or JT or whatever,
Right.
instead of spending the extra $1,000 to get up here to Connors and Henley.
I really like Hideki, but I'm terrified that he's going to WD or something. Like, I'm probably going to sprinkle him in there. I'm not sure what contest I'm going to enter. I've already got a $100 single entry reserved. I don't know what I'm going to do as far as some of the, 18 max.
I think the play is if you like, instead of doing like I'm saying, like I'm probably going to end up on a lot of Rory, Aubert, Morikawa and double stacking those. I guess if you're really into Scotty this week, instead of your double stack being kind of that 10,000 range, you could do your stars pick as like Scotty and then go to this 9K range.
Yeah. And
you end up
a lot of people probably will.
spot.
Yeah, a lot of people probably will do that.
Yeah, I'm sure that Scotty Matsuyama will be a fairly popular start.
And at Henley, of course, I don't know what the ownership projection is showing, but him being one of the most tipped on this list that tells me that people are going to be on him. So, let's see. I've seen some love for Adam Scott. Put a new driver in the bag right before the Genesis Scottish Open. The new Titleist, I think, is a TS3. And that's the same driver that Davis Thompson put in his bag before he started going on his run. So maybe something there. I don't know. You've seen a second place and a top 10 finish at the Open, I believe, back to back. You could see some maybe vintage Adam Scott stuff this week. I don't know. But Spieth, I'm not touching. He's hurt. He's talked about how he's hurt. You saw Rick ask him. I don't know if you saw this or not, actually, but Rick did ask him about the injury. He's a no-go until he gets this surgery and after that heals.
Yeah, I think two like for sure no-goes this week for me would be Spieth and I'm blanking. Hovland. Spieth and Hovland.
Oh, wow.
I can't until I see some life. I won't be going to either one of them. I was on Spieth this past week and took a chance, and he showed some life, and then he disappeared. I didn't see his Saturday. I saw his Friday. That was promising, honestly. Like, he was playing halfway decent. He made an eagle at one point. He it's like almost there, but he just can't quite do it.
Right.
And I think that's kind of the same with Hovland. Like, it's almost there, but he just can't get anything really going. So I think both of those guys are just like, I think they're done. I think both of them are checked out, and they will try and find their games in the off season and hopefully come back ready to roll next year.
I could see Hovland spiking and like coming out of nowhere and then going on a major run right here. But
has that potential. He has that potential for me more than Spieth, because I've seen enough of Spieth now to know that that's just not going to happen.
What is Hovland's? Because I tried to like deep dive his stats earlier, and his approach. I mean, it didn't like the stat profile didn't look terrible. It's just that the finish. I mean, other than around the green,
it's super recent. So his last I'll show you last 12 rounds, which is obviously super recent form. He is basically 0 tee to green. So he's still gaining off the tee. We're a slight losing now on approach, which is the concerning thing for me. If Victor Hovland is losing on approach, and now we have to scramble with the around the green, which is his main problem.
True.
Then
that's a bad combo.
Then we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Now off the tee, like I said, is still fine, but super recent last 12 rounds. He is now a loser on approach, which you don't like to see that.
No. All right. Let's see. Let's just talk about a couple more guys here, and then we can wrap this up.
Shane Lowry, right there with Wyndham Clark. I also like. He missed the cut, but like I said, I was kind of tuned in there for Friday, and he was with Akshay, and like I said, he just could not get anything going. He had a lot of looks, just didn't make anything. In his 2 rounds, his average on approach, he gained 1 shot per round, and he lost 1.64 per round putting. That's a profile that I like the looks of. 2 under round 2.
Could go a little overlooked here too.
Yeah, he gained 3.53 tee to green in round 2.
Wow.
And lost 2.4 putting. So Shane Lowry, like you said, I think will go a little bit overlooked. He was in round 2, tee to green. He was 6th. He's got it in him. People are probably going to see that miscut if you just look at the box score and go, "Oh, Shane Lowry missed the cut at the Wyndham."
Mm-hmm.
But then you deep dive it, and he still played pretty good. Just kind of unfortunate, never really got anything going. So at this discount, I'll take a shot here, knowing that I'm getting 4 rounds too.
I will. I want to talk about one more person that I'm going to be playing, and then we can build a lineup if you want.
Okay.
Let's see. Did I write this down? I did not. I will be playing some Siwoo Kim. And the reason for that is I think he might, I don't know what the ownership projection is saying, but I considered him for my favorite value play. I just like Denny a little bit more. Lost 2.14 strokes putting over 2 rounds at the Wyndham. That's obviously not good. But we've just kind of seen the upside a little bit for this price tag. He's 7,200 on DK. T25 at Century, that was a no-cut event. T14 at AT&T, that was a no-cut. RBC Heritage, T18, no-cut. T16 at Wells Fargo, no-cut. Lost strokes putting and over a stroke per round in that tournament. I also went back and I looked. Since 2018, every tournament that, not every tournament, but 50% of the time that Siwoo Kim loses more than 2 strokes putting on the greens, he comes back and he finishes within the top 10. 50% of the time. That's over 12 tournaments. So that's a weird stat, but it's like a game of numbers that I just happened to come across, and I'm like, okay, well, if he does this, maybe there's a chance. I think that, again, he is a roll of the dice. Exactly. And you start getting guys like that in these guaranteed 4-round tournaments. I just feel like they've got, we saw him go absolutely insane on the final round of the Players. He was like kind of nowhere near the top, and he's shot
like Lowry
800.
Jr.
And that's fine. I might put them on the same team, to be honest.
He gained at the U.S. Open on Bermuda grass greens, so that's good to see. He gained 0.31 per round, so slight gainer, but still something there. He finished T32 there at the U.S. Open. He is Lowry Jr. He's pretty good off the tee, pretty good on approach, and you're going to get some weird putting weeks, and you might get a snowman in there, and you might get an eagle in there. I don't know.
You might get a hole in one and then a followed up with a snowman.
Yeah, he's a little bit all over the place, but hey, you're guaranteed 4 rounds here, so not the worst idea.
And that was the guy I mentioned that was in the Open Championship lineup that I wanted to touch on, because I will have a decent amount of Siwoo.
He was our worst play, but he was
got us that hole in one. I don't know how many points that's worth, but
I think it might be 8. So definitely part of the formula for the win there.
All right, let's build a lineup. We don't have to give away
no, because there's no cut. There's no 6 of 6 for giving anything away. But we can build one.
Yeah, let's build one to put in. We'll put it in something, but let's see. Did you go first last time? I think you went first last time.
Was the last time we did one
the 3M, and EVR missed the cut.
EVR, that guy sucks. All right, so I'm going first.
No. You went first last time, so I'll go first.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to pick. I'm gonna pick Shane Lowry.
Wow, you're gonna snake one of my picks?
I wasn't like all over that, but I think the miscut might do something for the ownership. That's what I'm looking for this week.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Colin Morikawa.
Colin Morikawa. All right, that leaves 8,000 per. Siwoo.
Okay, so there's our double Siwoo Jr. right there, or Lowry Jr.
Shane Lowry and Shane Lowry Jr.
Yeah. All right, so 8,200 remaining. It's kind of a weird spot here. I could either spend all our money.
Don't be scared to go up.
Or not.
Don't be scared to go up. I'm looking at a name, and you better pick it.
See, the problem is if I go up, then we can't get one of the middle guys I like. You got somebody like way down there that you like?
Define middle. I mean, not particularly, but I can get them.
All right. And go. I'm going to go with Rory.
Oh, I thought you were going to go Aubert. Now I have to go way down here.
Well, that's what I was saying. I mean, we're now stars and scrubs at this point.
Oh, we are so much that.
But that's what I like this week, so I don't hate it.
I mean, I feel like I talked about this guy too much to not pick him. Oh, God, you really screwed me here. Let's see. Let me get one little.
See, you're worrying about too much about where it's going to put us. You just need to pick who you believe in.
I don't believe in any of these fuckers down here.
Well, you don't have to pick somebody below 6,800. You could pick somebody slightly above, and just wherever it puts me, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I could do that and put the pressure on you to go down there.
Yeah,
all
to
right,
an extent.
That's what I'm gonna do. Bez.
Bez?
Oh yeah.
We didn't say a word about Bez.
Bez.
God.
Yeah, good luck. $6,400 remaining.
$6,400 remaining. You can run through my options so while I'm researching.
All right, you got EVR coming off a missed cut. You got Taylor Moore coming off 52nd. Finished like 5th here last year. Victor Perez, Adam Hadwin, Austin Eckroat just finished 6th at the Wyndham. Chris Kirk has made 4 cuts in a row, I believe.
All right, I got it.
Let's hear it.
We're going to go with Adam Hadwin to close it out. He T28 at the Wyndham. He gained 1.61 tee to green average per round, gained 0.72 off the tee, gained 0.84 on approach, and lost 0.37 putting. That's a profile I can get behind. Give me
so we are super team no putt.
Yeah. We're team spike putt.
Is that like the new version of spike ball?
Yeah, spike putt. Because these boys can all spike putting, but we're getting 4 rounds. So if they all spike at different times and we get, super hot rounds randomly from each one of them, points wise,
yeah,
that actually should work out pretty well.
Yeah. All right, there it is. That's the lineup. That's the show. We will obviously be watching very closely this week. I don't think we're going to have to worry about some of the stuff that Chandler dealt with in his in his pre-round stuff this week, or at the Wyndham, where he had Harris English withdraw from his big contest before the tee time.
He was in my $200 single entry, which got just wrecked before it even started.
Yeah, when you have a $200 lineup and you got a guy that just WDs right before the tee time, that lineup is done.
Yeah,
almost immediately.
I was just rolling some of my winnings and just keeping it in there and playing with house money and going big, and took it right on the chin. And then it didn't end up mattering because EVR was on that lineup. He missed, and Smalley was on it. He missed. So it didn't really matter in the end. But to take one right on the chin before it even starts. Hopefully that doesn't happen to anybody out there or any of our lineups. You never know. Harris English was a back injury, and he's good to go. So
I wonder how long that's been like that.
Good luck. I don't know.
I wonder how long that's been like that.
Well, as long as maybe your audio's still good. Apple Podcasts will be fun.
Yeah, either way. Yeah, that's the show. We'll see you guys next week. Appreciate you watching.